Good morning, everyone. This is John. Today, I want to talk to you about why you feel distant from God, even when you're trying not to be. You see, this is one of those things that doesn't really make sense when you're in it. You're still praying, you still try to stay consistent, you're still wanting to do the right things, but something just feels off, like God isn't there. Part of you is thinking, if I'm still trying, why does this feel harder? Why does he feel far when I'm still searching? That's confusing, right? It's not like you've walked away. If anything, you might be trying more than you used to. So let's just walk through this honestly. I think what's happening here is not as simple as it feels. Once you see it clearly, it'll begin to shift for you. So, what does this actually feel like? Well, in real life, this doesn't always look dramatic. It's actually more subtle. You sit down to pray, but your mind feels distracted. You read something, but it doesn't land the way it used to. You may want to feel connected, but everything feels kind of flat. Have you noticed that? It's not that you don't care, it's that something feels muted. And over time, that starts to wear on you. You see, the place that's supposed to feel grounding starts to feel harder to access. And then you start wondering, is something wrong with me? Am I doing something wrong? That's usually where people go first. Is that where you go first? I know sometimes in my life I'm going, what in the world have I gone wrong now? Well, what's the next thing? Here's where it gets really tricky. You see, when people feel that distance, they usually respond in one of two ways. They either start blaming themselves or they start trying harder. More effort, more pressure, more, I need to fix this. And on the surface, that sounds like the right response. But have you noticed the more you try to force it, the less natural it feels? That's pretty frustrating, right? Now you're putting in more effort, but feeling less connection. So what's actually happening? What's going on? Well, let me explain it this way. This is where we have a shift in what we're thinking about. Most of the time, this isn't just about doing more spiritually. It's about what's happening internally. You see, your inner world might be overloaded. So what's actually happening? Let me explain what I think is really going on. So what's actually happening? Let me explain what I think is really going on. You see, this is where it shifts. Most of the time, this isn't just about doing more spiritually. It's about what's happening internally. Number one, your inner world might be overloaded. You've been carrying things like stress, disappointment, mental noise, emotional weight. And on a normal day, you just keep going. So you don't always stop to notice it. But eventually, that internal buildup starts affecting how everything feels, including your connection with God. And this is important. Just because your mind feels crowded doesn't mean God is distant, but it can feel that way. Does that sound familiar to you? How about number two? You may have started turning connection into pressure. This happens quietly. You start feeling like, I need to pray better. I need to feel more. I need to fix this. That's me. I'm a fixer. I need to fix this right now. And now every moment with God feels loaded. Instead of being honest, we're trying to get it right. Instead of being present, we're evaluating ourselves. And that changes everything about our situation. Because pressure doesn't create closeness. It actually disrupts closeness. The third thing that we can look at is that you might be expecting a feeling. This one is also subtle. Part of you may be measuring connection by how it feels. So if you don't feel something strong, you assume something is wrong. But relationship isn't always emotional. Sometimes it's steady. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes present without being intense. And if you're only looking for a feeling, you might miss what's actually there. So what is our core insight moment? Let me say this clearly. The real issue isn't that God has become distant. It's that your internal world has become crowded, pressured, or misinterpreted, and it's affecting how you experience Him. That's the shift. Because now the problem isn't God left. The problem is something is getting in the way of how you're perceiving Him. And that's something you can work through. So why does this keep happening? Well, this is why people stay stuck. You see, because the pattern feels convincing. If you feel distance, you assume you need to try harder. If you try harder, you create more pressure. More pressure makes connection feel harder. So, we try even more to correct it. That loop keeps repeating, and it feels spiritual because effort feels like the right response. But effort doesn't fix eternal overload. That's why this particular cycle keeps going. So what do we actually do with this? What practical applications or things that we can put in place? Well, let's keep it simple. Step number 1, stop forcing the moment. Instead of trying to feel something, pause and say, I don't need to force this right now. You see, that alone can release pressure. Be honest. When things feel off, do you try to force connection? Step number 2, name what's actually going on inside. Slow down and ask yourself, what have you been carrying lately? Stress, disappointment, frustration, mental overload. Put words to what you're feeling. When this actually happens, most people skip this step, and then everything stays vague. So ask to yourself, what's really been sitting under the surface? Step 3 is to separate your feelings from what's true. This part is very important. You see, because you feel distant doesn't mean God is distant. You see, that's a big shift. So instead of saying God feels far, try saying I feel off right now. You see, that creates space. Step number 4, come back honestly, not perfectly. Instead of trying to sound right, just be real. He's your Father. God, I feel distance. God, I don't feel connected right now. God, I'm trying, but something feels off. You know, that kind of honesty is where things start opening up again. Step number 5, rebuild connection simply. Not intense, not perfection, simple. A few quiet minutes. One real prayer. A slower pace. This is where it shifts. Connection comes back through consistency, not pressure. So in doing all this, we have an identity shift. You see, this is where something deeper starts changing. You're not just trying to feel close again. You're becoming someone who notices what's happening internally. You stop forcing connection. You tell the truth instead of performing. And you return to God honestly. That's growth. And it's more stable than just chasing a feeling. You know, if you've been feeling distant lately, you're not alone in that. Listen, you are not broken. See, what you're experiencing actually makes sense. And once something makes sense, you can start responding to it differently. So keep it simple today. Stop forcing it. Name what's real. Come back honestly. Let connection rebuild naturally. That's enough. You know, if you want help walking through that step by step, there is a free download, a free guide that I put together. It's called the Spiritual Exhaustion Reset Guide. The link is down below. It'll help you start clearing what's been building up internally. And if you want to go deeper into all this, you can check out Fix Your Spiritual Exhaustion in 7 Days program. It's designed to help you actually break this cycle and rebuild connection clearly. Both of the links are in the description below. You know, our next video, if you're, connecting with what we've been saying, the next thing that we need to talk about is why you keep falling back into the same problems. Because for a lot of people, this feeling of distance is tied to cycles they haven't fully understood yet. Thank you for being with us. Leave a comment. Love to hear from you. And remember, if you want to go further, check out the links. God bless you. May you begin to feel clarity where things have been confusing, peace where things have felt heavy, and honesty where you've been carrying pressure. May your mind quiet, your heart settle, and your connection with God become simple again. May it become real. And may you remember you were never meant to carry this alone.